Welcome back. We're studying the 20th chapter of Ishut. This chapter is very interesting. It deals with something that, when I first studied this, I thought this was extraordinarily, let's say, progressive. And it deals with the assumption of how much girls are supposed to receive as gifts from their fathers when they get married. So that's the main topic of this subject, and what's the order of priority when the father didn't specify what they are supposed to get and then he dies. Halacha Aleph. ציוו חכמים שייתן אדם מנכסיו מעט לביתו כדי שתינשא בו וזהו הנקרא פרנסה. חכמים prescribed that a person must give a little bit of his assets to his daughter so that she gets married, she brings it into the marriage, and that's what's called פרנסה. המשיא את ביתו סתם לא יפחות לה מכסות שפוסקין לאשת עני שבישראל. If someone is married his daughter and did not specify any gift, then at the very least it's expected that he gives her basic needs, which is basic garments, basic clothing, like any wife of the poorest person of Am Israel would be entitled to from her husband. שבארנו, as we explained in פרק י"ג, במה דברים אמורים? When are we saying that? בשהיה האב עני, אבל אם היה עשיר, הרי זה ראוי שייתן לה כפי עשרו. And this is all when he was himself a poor man, the father, but if he was wealthy, he should give her as much as he can afford. Halacha bet. Halacha bet will specify that these gifts that the father should give to his daughter are waivable. The father can decide not to give this gift. פירש על הבעל שאין לה כלום ושיכניסנה ערומה. So the father said to the husband, okay, you're going to marry my daughter, but on the condition that I give her absolutely nothing. She doesn't take even undergarments from my house. You have to provide for everything. אין לה כלום. If the husband agrees, then that means that he agreed to clothe her and to provide for her, and then she takes nothing. ולא יאמר הבעל כשתבוא לביתי יחסנה, אלא מכסה והיא בבית אביה. And then the husband, as soon as he agreed to that, he assumes a responsibility over dressing and providing for his newlywed wife. Even before she comes to live with him, he starts to provide for her. הלכה ג' האב שמת והניח בת. Father passes away, he leaves the daughter behind. עומדין דעתו, כמה היה בליבו ליתן לה לפרנסתה ונותנים לה. The Bedin tries to read into his mind when he was alive how much he would have wanted to give to his daughter, and that's what they give to her. ומנין יודעין אומדן דעתו, and how do they know how much he would have given to his daughter? מרעיו ומיודעיו וממסעו ומתנו כבודו. From the environment, from his friends, his family members, and from the way he did business, if he was generous, if he wasn't generous, uchvodo, how much he cared about what people thought of him and what they'd say that his daughter is getting, etc. So too, more obviously, if he married another daughter while he was alive, we'll look at what he did for her. ואם לא יוודע לבית-דין אומדן דעתו, very interesting. If we don't have any evidence or any hints as to what he would have wanted, we assume that he would have wanted to give to his daughter 1/10 of his possessions. So a daughter, this should give you an idea of what Chachamim thought should be the average. A daughter should get about 1/10 of the possessions of the father when she gets married. הלכה ד' הניח בנות רבות כל שתבוא להינשא נותנים לה עיסור הנכסים ושלאחריה העיסור מה ששיירה ראשונה ושלאחריה העיסור מה ששיירה שנייה. If there is multiple daughters and all of them want to receive something from the estate upon their getting married, so each one that comes to get married, if we have no idea how much the father will have given to her, we said we give them 10%, but the 10% that we give is always 10% of the assets at that moment. So the first one will get 10%, the second one will get 10% of the 90%, namely 9%, the third one will get 10% of the 81%, namely 8.1%, and so on and so forth. ואם באו כולן להינשא כאחת, ראשונה נוטלת איסור, והשנייה איסור מה ששיערה ראשונה, והשלישית איסור מה ששיערה שנייה, וכן אפילו הן 10, וחוזרות וחולקות כל האיסורים בשווה, ושאר הנכסים לאחים. If they come multiple of them to get married at the same time, then we do the following. We see how many they are, and we assume that each of them is going to be the first one, some of them the second one, some of them the third one, and so on and so forth. So each of them will get 10% of what's left over, just like the first case. However, we put everything into a pool, and then we divide up that pool equally. So if it was 3 of them, the first one gets 10%, second one 9%, third one 8.1%, which ends up being 17.1%. So that pool of 17.1% is divided by 3 equal parts, and then the other brothers get the remaining 82.9%. I'm sorry, 72.9%. So it's 27.1%, and then the remainder is 72.9%. הלכה ה' איסור זה שהוא לפרנסה אינו מתנאי הכתובה. This 10th that we assume for the פרנסה is not one of the conditions of the כתובה. לפיכך אפילו לתקנת החלונים אינו ניתן אלא מן הקרקע. Therefore, even for those, the Geonim that said that some things of the ketubah should be taken from mitaltalim, this is not part of the ketubah, and therefore it can only be taken from karka, from fixed assets, from real estate. ויש לה לגבות איסור זה מסחילות הקרקע, and they can take this 10th from renting out property. ואם רצו האחים ליתן לה מעוד כנגד איסור הקרקע, נותנים. And if the brothers decide that they prefer to give to their sister another kind of assets, or a monetary amount comparable to what she would have gotten otherwise from the karka, they can do so, and then they keep the karka, they sell it, or they do whatever they want with it. הלכה ו' האיסור זה איסור זה שהוא לפרנסה. I'm sorry. הלכה ו' הבת באיסור זה כבעל חוב של האחים היא. So what is the status of the girl with respect to the brothers in what regards this isur, this 10% that she is deemed to receive from the father as a gift for her wedding? So this is like a baal chov. This is like a creditor to the brothers. We treat her as we treat creditors under the estate. What does that mean? לפיכך נוטלת אותו מן הבינונית בלא שבועה. So if there's 3 kinds of land, one is a good land, one is a medium land, one is a bad land, and mostly this was relevant for not for the price that they had, but well, also for the price, but not for the value of the total land, because that had to do with area as well and what's planted in it, but it had to do with its potential for income, because bad land cannot have a lot of income. And it has to do with the transferability. The good land is the most liquid, it's the easiest one to sell. So she takes from the Benonit, like all creditors, and there needs not be a Shavua. ואם מתו האחים, נוטלת אותו מביניהם מן הזיבורית ובשבועה. If the brothers died, then she takes it from the ziburit. Ziburit means the bad land, and through Shavua. שהרי היא נפרעת מנכסי יתומים, because then if she's taking it from the brothers who died, she's taking it from their יתומים. והבא להיפרע מנכסי יתומים לא ייפרע אלא מן הזיבורית בשבועה, כמו שייפרע בהלכות הלוואה, and we said in other places already, and it's going to be specified in הלכות הלוואה, that when you want to take something away from the יתומים, you need שבועה, and you can only take it from the worst kind of land. הלכה ז' ואחים שמכרו או משכנו קרקע אביהן, הבת טורפת מן לקוחות פרנסתה, just like any other creditor, if the brothers go ahead and sell that land that their sister would otherwise have taken 10% from it, then the sister now as a creditor can go and get back and attach that obligation that they had to her to that land, כדרך שטורפים כל בעלי חובות מן הלקוחות, just like any creditor does, כמו שהתבהר בהלכות הלוואה, like we'll start in הלכות הלוואה, פרק י"ח 18. הלכה ח' מי שהשיא בנות גדולות ונשארו קטנות, ומת בלא בן, let's say someone had several daughters, some of them were adults and they got married while he was alive, and some of them were left orphan while being minors and not married. So just to refresh our memory, those minor girls should receive mezonot so long as there is boys. So in other words, the boys get the estate, and the girls get mezonot. The married ones will get nothing. However, if there is only girls, they all get the estate. So we would think that the ketanot get not only the mezonot, but they also get the gift for their wedding. So we already said in the last chapter they don't get mezonot, but now we are specifying also they don't get parnasa. אין נוטלים פרנסה לקטנות ואחר כך חולקים את הנכסים, אלא חולקות כולם בשווה. Now we are in a scenario where everyone gets an inheritance and therefore there is no obligation of parnasa. The obligation of parnasa comes to more or less to compensate the girls for not getting the inheritance. If they are getting the inheritance, there is no mezonot and there is no parnasa. הלכה ט' משמט והניח שתי בנות ובן, וקדמה ראשונה ונטלה איסור נכסים. Let's say someone dies and he has one son and two daughters. The first daughter goes, she gets married, and she goes ahead and takes a tenth of the estate. I'm sorry, it's not if she gets married, it's also in order for her to get married. So she goes and takes a tenth of the estate as parnasa. I missed the last word. ולא הספיקה השנייה, and there wasn't enough time, the second one didn't get to take her parnasa, let's say she lived somewhere else, עד שמת הבן, until now their brother died, so the brother now leaves yorshim, and those yorshim are yetomim, ונפלו כל הנכסים לשתיהן, and then all the nechasim fall back to them, because for example the brother had no yorshim, אין השנייה נוטלת איסור, אלא חולקות בשווה. Then the second one now doesn't get this parnasa that the first one got, because now they both are entitled to some Yerusha, and therefore we are in a different world right now, the world of Yerusha, and they both split it equally as a Yerusha. וזכת ראשונה באיסור שלה, and the first one keeps the איסור that she took before the brother passed away. Because now they are splitting an inheritance that comes really from the brother. So the brother had gotten the inheritance, he died without children. As we'll see later, this means that it goes back to the father, but the father has died, and then it goes to the father's heir, which is first his sons, he has no other brothers, and then if he has no sons, his daughters, which is his two daughters, so they'll inherit their brother. And by inheriting their brother, now they are splitting everything equally, and they cannot no longer claim anything that they could have received under the inheritance of the father. We are in a different inheritance right now. הלכה י' מי שציווה בשעת מיתה, אל תפרנסו בנותיי מנכסיי, שומעים לו שאין זה מתניה כתובה. If someone, just like someone can stipulate before marrying his daughter off that there is not going to be a parnasa, he can also stipulate before dying that there is not going to be a parnasa for any of his daughters, and they end up with nothing. This is just a presumption that the father would want to give. If the father is showing us very explicitly that he doesn't want to give, then we honor this request because it's not one of the Tanaim of the Ketubah. It's just something Chachamim prescribed that it's an appropriate thing to do. הלכה י"א, מי שמת והניח אלמנה ובת, כבר ביארנו שמזונות האלמנה קודמים למזונות הבת. If someone dies and he leaves behind a widow and a daughter, we already said that the widow takes precedence over the daughter in terms of מזונות. וכן אם נישאת הבת אינה נוטלת איסור נכסים מפני מזונות האלמנה. Also, and this I think is more obvious, if there is only enough money for either mezonot of the mother or mezonot of the daughter, we give precedence to the mother, and how much more so that the daughter doesn't get parnasa at the expense of the mezonot of the mother. Not only the mother, it could be also a widow that's not her mother. וכן אם נישאת הבת, ואפילו מתה הבת אחר שנישאת, אין הבעל יורש פרנסה הראויה להינתן לה, שהרי הנכסים כולן בחזקת האלמנה שתהיה ניזונת מהן. And so too, if this daughter dies after getting married, so in the ketubah, it's stipulated that the husband will inherit anything that she's entitled to. So you would think that now the husband has a very strong claim. He has a claim of Yerusha of his wife, but it's a claim on something that was never really his wife's, because this obligation was always subjugated to the right of the wife of the first widow to get mezonot from her deceased husband, from the father of this girl that just died. הלכה י"ב, קטנה יתומה שהסיעתה אמה או אחיה לדעתה, ונתנו לה 150 זוז. יכולה היא מי שתגדיל להוציא מידם פרנסה הראויה לה. If the orphan girl, while not being an adult, she was a ketana, the mother or the brothers betrothed her to someone with her agreement, and then they gave her as parnasa something that they thought would be appropriate, like 100 or 50 zuzim, but presumably much less than what would be a tenth of the estate of the father. When she grows up, she can go and claim the remainder of what she would have been entitled had the bed din given her a parnasa. Either what the bed din thinks the father would have wanted to give her, or a tenth of the value of all the real estate that he left behind. ואפילו לא היו האחים זנין אותה, ואף על פי שלא מיחת בשעת נישואין, מפני שהקטנה אינה הבת מחאה. And this is even if the brothers were not providing mezonot to her, and even if she agreed to this amount the moment she got married, but she was a minor, and therefore we don't take her lack of protest as an agreement out of capacity. We ignore it and we let her come and protest when she grows up. הלכה י"ג, נישאת הבת אחר שגדלה, so same example, but now she's older. So she's older when she's getting married, whether she's na'ara or bogeret. Na'ara means after 12 years of age and after the onset of puberty, the later of the two. אם פסקו האחים מזונותיה שהרי אין לה מזונות כמו שביארנו, if the brothers gave her mezonot, which she wouldn't have been entitled to, like we explained, ושתקה ולא תבעה פרנסתה, and she didn't claim that she wants parnasa instead, איבדה פרנסתה, we assume that she was happy with that arrangement, and she loses the parnasa, ואם מחד לא איבדה פרנסתה, however, if she does protest, then she still can claim the parnasa. הלכה י"ג, פסקו means that they stop, not that they give her, but they stop to give her. I misspoke. הלכה י"ג, לא פסקו אחים מזונותיה, if the brothers hadn't stopped supporting her, וזנו אותה בבגר, they continued supporting her even after she became בוגרת, אבל פי שלא מחת לא איבדה פרנסתה, and they don't give her parnasa when she gets married, then we can say that she assumed that the parnasa is still going to come, so her lack of protest is not held against her, and she can still protest. כל זמן שהן זנין אותה, so long as they continue supporting her. שיש לה לטעון, because she could say, מפני שהן זנין אותה, אף על פי שאינן חייבים, והיא עדיין לא נישאת, מפני זה לא תבעה פרנסתן, because they were continuing to support her, even though they weren't obligated to. And she hasn't yet gotten married, so she assumed that the parnasa is going to be something that she gets upon marriage, and that's why she hasn't demanded it yet. הלכה י"ד. In other words, just to review הלכה י"ג, the point is that the moment that the girl becomes bogeret, which means she's no longer entitled to mezonot, that's when she has to claim the parnasa and let the brothers live in peace ever after, and not come and claim it 10 years later, because they sort of want to start a new page, to cut economic ties with her. So on the other hand, even if she's bogeret, if they haven't cut economic ties with her and they are still supporting her on her basic needs, then she doesn't yet need to claim the parnasa. She can claim it as soon as they stop supporting her. הלכה י"ד, last הלכה of the chapter. מי שציווה ליתן לביתו כך וכך מעות לפרנסתה לקח בהם קרקע, בין שהיה שכיב מרע בין שהיה בריא ומת. If someone in his sava'ah, before he dies, he requests that his daughter be given so and so for her parnasa, in order to buy land, whether he was shechiv mera, which means someone who is about to die, or he was healthy and then he dies, and he left the money with a third party, and then the daughter said, just instead of buying the land like my father said, just give this amount to my husband and let him decide what he wants to do with it. אם הייתה גדולה ונישאת, הרשות בידها. If she was גדולה, if she was an adult, and she just got married, so the shalish is holding the money until she gets married, right? So now she gets married, and she says, I know my father said to buy me a land, but I just want you to give it to my husband. So if she was an adult, and then she gets married, then she's entitled to, because we assume that what the father had meant is for this third party to have a shlichut, to have agency over this money, only up to the moment of marriage. Now that she's married, even though this emissary, the shalish, a third party, still would have instructions to fulfill, his mandate has finished. So he just gives it to her and lets her do whatever she wants with it. ואם עדיין מאורסת היא, however, if she's still מאורסת, when he gives her the parnasa, so she's not niset yet, she's מאורסת, the first stage of marriage, יעשה שליש מה שהושלש בידו. Then the shalish is still deemed to continue with the mandate of the shalichut of the father, and he should go and buy that land as the father had asked. ואם עדיין קטנה היא, if she's not an adult, she's still a minor, and she gets married, then it doesn't matter if it's erusin or nisuin, אפילו נישאת, אין שומעים לה, even if she went into nisuim, we don't listen to her, but rather we let the shalish continue and finish the shalichut like the father had asked. אלא יעשה השליש כמו שציווהו האב. The father should do what the shalish should do what the father had prescribed him to do. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen.